I'm surprised that title fits on that little page you made.
I had to scooch it up because I was like, this is the longest title. I wonder if it is the longest title in the entire series.
I can't think of one that's longer. Yeah.
Why so many words?
Very important. I think it's trying to demonstrate their wordiness.
Good morning.
Pompous wordiness. Hello.
Oh,
Winnie is on my lap, of course. Yes, you can kind of see him.
Little puppy behind the mic.
Yeah.
How's your week been?
As you know, very busy.
Oh yeah, you wrapped up everything.
I had 2 finals, a ton of grading, and then sort of the overall. I mean, you're very familiar, but there's a lot of bookkeeping that goes into closing the semester. So not only the exams, but then just the overall grades and emails and chaos.
Yeah. End of semester is my least favorite time, but it's also my most favorite time because then it's like you're on break.
It's an easy finish line.
You don't have to do anything. We can binge Netflix all day if we want to.
I want to go see Knives Out.
Yes, Glass Onion. Yeah.
I really want to see that.
Yeah.
So we're probably we were hoping it was coming to the theater right next to us, but because we haven't gone there yet.
Yeah.
But it is not. We also so I was ahead. I was really working diligently again, as you know. Not only this week but last week, so I was like really up on my stuff. So we did manage to have a nice night out. We checked out a bunch of new places.
Yep.
We also went to First Friday last Friday.
Yeah. We did.
Did we not have the podcast last week?
We did. No, we talked about it because I talked about the props play and
Yeah. That's right. Of course. Yes. That's right.
Yes. Every week we've been podcasting, except for the week we went to Albuquerque.
When my parents were here, we did it.
Yeah,
that's right.
We were like, we're podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I guess I didn't check the rest of December. I don't know if we'll do
like
Christmas.
What day things fall on.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just do something fun and schedule it differently or something.
Yeah, I really want, and so, okay, yesterday I streamed on Twitch for the first time in like a month, and I played Baldur's Gate 3.
You love that game so much.
I love it. I'm
can't wait till it comes out.
I know I was joking, but I'm kind of serious. I want to be a part-time Baldur's Gate 3 streamer in August.
I don't think you should be joking. August is almost, what is that, 6 months later? So it'll be a good time to just add a little variety, some spice. Well, also, Breath of the Wild is June, right?
No, I think it's May. It's an M month. It's either March or May. I feel like it's May because I don't think it's super close to Hogwarts Legacy. I think there's a buffer. So I think it's
3 months, 3 months. I mean, you really, really love Baldur's Gate. I'll play with you. You can stream, but I'll sit over there and play.
Well, I did order the collector's edition for Baldur's Gate 3. So now you will have a game key eventually, but you won't have it until August.
Maybe we can pull Vin in again. We'll just stream on WizardPhD, but gotta get the Vin stir in here.
Vin.
We can bring Jared too, but he'll make us all look bad, so let's start with just Vin. He's more our pace.
Yeah, so I played it because, well, a couple things is like, people are like, when are you going to stream on Twitch again? And I'm like, well, I'm supposed to be streaming every Friday, but every Friday something happens, so then I don't stream on Friday. So
by something happens, are you meaning it's like released by the game?
It's always like patron night, or we had family visiting, and then it was Thanksgiving, and it was just like, okay, I couldn't do Fridays anymore.
Yeah.
Or at least for a month.
Yeah.
Then I was like, I want to do...
Especially at the New Year, Friday becomes more of a normal day.
I want to do 12 days of streaming. So I might do it on Twitch, actually, because I have games. So I started playing also Horizon Zero Dawn.
Half and half.
All of these things, I was inspired by the Game Awards on Thursday because... So Hogwarts Legacy did not win Most Anticipated Game, but
no, it didn't.
It's okay because Breath of the Wild 2 won, and I have been waiting for that game forever.
Yeah, it was
since
it was
before
always
Hogwarts Legacy.
It was always going to be
that. Yeah,
because this would be equivalent of like if Hogwarts Legacy absolutely crushes, and then they put out a second one.
Well,
like 5 years later, then people would be extremely highly anticipated.
Well, also 90% of the vote went to the jury panel.
Right.
It's gonna be people
they have trust in what's gonna be.
It was nominated last year, so was Starfield.
I know.
you know. So
that was funny when you told me that.
Yeah, it's literally we don't know anything about it, but as you reminded me, Nintendo does that where it's just like, here you go.
Not only did I remind you, I was saying that I think that is the correct read of the hype landscape at this point. Personally, think that Hogwarts Legacy is sharing too much.
When you have an established franchise like Zelda,
I don't agree. I know what you're saying.
You know, Harry Potter video games are not like really a thing that have ever existed besides like a replaying of Harry's story. You know,
playing games, the games that really stick with people develop memories.
Yeah.
And so you have to allow people, but memories while they're playing, not memories from the trailer. So in my opinion, showing the common rooms was a mistake. It shouldn't have been shown. Like, it's something that people should experience playing the game for the first time, in my opinion.
Hot take from Orange Jeffrey. Well, this is why I don't think that they'll show us the Black Lake. If we can go swimming, if we can dive into the lake, then I don't think they'll show it to us because imagining that, my expectations are really high for it.
I mean, what if there's a dungeon? That would be cool.
So.
Pop some gillyweed. Fire on in there.
Where's Neville? We need a gillyweed dealer.
Yeah. I feel like...
In game. Oh my gosh.
I feel like there's a possibility that in retrospect what I'm saying won't make any sense because they actually are hiding a majority of the sort of cool things from us.
Yeah.
And the common rooms were like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They're going to give it away because how quickly is it just going to be all over the internet anyway, and like it doesn't really matter, you know.
Yeah. But you still need to market the game.
Like, as you know, one of the things... Yes, you do. You do. One of the things I said was, I hope that what they're showing us, that they're not showing us a lot of things of the same quality.
Yeah.
Like, because it looks great. And I'm just hoping that they're not carving out the top 10% of locations and showing them to us in the trailers.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even seen a lot of the stuff that in the concept art. I mean, we're starting to see more of it, like of the behind the scenes. There's like a whole, I mean, granted, some of it is more like very conceptual, like that thing with the Tundragate. You couldn't think of the name. Where it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like I'm imagining concentric circles and like these little puzzles like line up somehow in some glorious fashion. But and that's the Merlin.
Speaking of, there's an interesting conversation that's been happening that I know you've been a part of a little bit too, which is the use of the map to sort of, that the map shows hidden spaces and locations. Like, if there's a hidden thing behind that bookcase and you're looking at the mini map, there's like a little room there, so you can see that there's a secret spot back there. I'm wondering how it's going to be. Have you already been there and then it discovers it or whatnot? It's interesting. Or is the map just like so powerful that it knows everything?
Yeah, in Baldur's Gate, and I believe, y'all can correct me for those of y'all who have played Breath of the Wild more recently than me, because I feel like my memories, once I like get that deep into a game, I don't remember what the beginning was, you know? So I feel like Breath of the Wild, it also was like uncovering the regions as you go. Like when you discovered a new area, didn't like on your map, the big map, didn't it kind of, were some of them kind of covered?
Map, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We don't really get like tiny maps in that game. I guess you can zoom in and see some stuff, but there's not really like hidden stuff. It's just the shrine has some stuff that you can go into, but it's not like secret compartments and whatever.
No, we'll see. But it'll be interesting one way or the other. Like either you'll know there's a secret thing and you have to figure it out, or you don't even know and you just have to like try a bunch of things everywhere, which is that's my preference. I would love to just be firing spells.
Crucio every door.
Thing. Yeah. The old Crucio lock.
My favorite, like whatever my initial reaction to that video, the Sebastian Stark Legacy, was, why are we Avadaing that, or Avadaing? I can't even say that word. Why are we casting Avada on the door? But just cast some unforgivable curses. Yeah. And who needs Alohomora when you can just torture a door to open itself?
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so but the Game Awards I enjoyed very much because it inspired me again to play some of the bigger titles that I have in my library, but I just haven't gotten around to playing. So Horizon Zero Dawn is one of those games, and I finally got past the tutorial. Now I am, so in the beginning of the game, like the intro kind of to the game, you're a child. I won't tell you the story. It's not really spoilery. It's just you're a child, and then you grow up, and when you're in the game, you're more of a teenage adult sort of thing. Ultimately, there's this kind of like, I think the end of the game, you're like on this journey. So I'm in the part where there is a map now, and I can explore. It's not tutorializing where the guy is teaching me how to do stuff. But I think the end of it, what's interesting to me is that this game seems to have a mystery question, and the question is like, who is our mother? And so then I was thinking about Hogwarts Legacy because I was like, oh, I've said before about this thing of like, if we survive this thing, I know the obvious question seems to be like, why ancient magic in us? You know, like that seems to be the thing. But I wonder if there's like other kind of mystery things involved, or like big questions that, you know.
I hadn't really considered whether the story will be a mystery or not, or if it's more just like
it doesn't need to be. Yeah, it doesn't need to be. But I feel like if it's going to model Harry Potter stories, but it's like our Hogwarts Legacy, there's probably some sort of mystery. Is Snape bad?
Is Snape bad? Yeah.
But that leads us to, I guess, our Hogwarts Legacy lore.
Oh, yes.
So I had a really tough time with the clues, but I was happy once somebody finally guessed this on Discord, because I was like, I don't know, maybe we can think of alternative clues I could have given, but the first clue I gave was preserved. Second was shriveled. So I saw some, the little, what's the name of the night bus head thing?
Oh, yeah.
That thing?
Larry.
That's
I can't remember.
Larry. I was expecting that to come up as a guess, and it did. But the last clue was severed.
Severed.
So I was trying to think. So the answer is Hand of Glory.
Yeah.
But like I wanted to point to hand, but I was like, I don't know. I could have also given dark as a clue, but that doesn't really give you any direction. I don't know. It was a tough one for me to
illumination, or like
But so with the Hand of Glory though, like my memory of it, so I had to like look up stuff to actually, and I know that we, and we'll get into this, have discovered or been made aware that it's a real thing that exists, thanks to Oven Ready, who's talking about the Hand of Glory that someone in his family had. I don't know. But
wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah. But my memory of the Harry Potter series is very, very dominated by, I think visual media always dominates my memory of things. So it's always like Borgin and Burke got the hand, it grabs Harry and makes that sound where it's just
Is that the Hand of Glory?
That is the Hand of Glory. Yeah. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, give me it.
Let's talk about it.
What do you got?
That happens in the film adaptation. It's old, shrunken, lying on a cushion in Borgin and Burke's. It's also when Malfoy is like, can I buy this, or can I get this, or whatever.
Which is great foreshadowing.
Yeah. Yes.
Chekhov's Hand of Glory.
So, best friend of thieves and plunderers. A Hand of Glory is a shriveled up hand that gives light only to the one who holds it, even in complete darkness. That was the entry in Harry Potter Wizards Unite, which I got that image from, which is on the thumbnail. It says a Hand of Glory, which makes me wonder if there's more than one.
I could see it.
You know?
I could see there being more than one.
I mean, Draco gets one. He ends up getting one.
Probably that one.
Well, I think he goes back to Borgin and Burke's and gets
well, because that's where the Vanishing Cabinet is. So yeah.
Yeah. We also have in Lego Harry Potter. If you play Lego Harry Potter years 1 through 4, Harry, because it's Harry just reliving his life in Lego Harry Potter. I'm on 5, book 5.
You're on 5.
Yeah. I'm right. Yeah. Where am I exactly?
This chapter.
No. Oh, I'm with Snape, and we're practicing legilimency. And it was kind of cool how they did it. In Lego Harry Potter, you kind of revisit the first scene that you start the game on, and everything's grayscale. And then you do these little things. And so it kind of flashes in different scenes, some of which aren't in the intro to the game. But Snape is kind of directing your attention, and you have to, like, find something, and it leads you to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. And I think that's where I ended Lego Harry Potter.
Do you think there's going to be a legilimency in the game? We talked about this.
I don't know.
At times.
I mean, I feel like it seems pretty intense to have. Because
but other games do sort
thing.
of thought reading where you don't get everything. You just get, like, if you roll
right.
well,
but we've also talked about if we have stuff like if we have magic, don't the baddies also have magic too?
Everyone has magic. I'm not expecting too many muggles.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe.
Oh, I know you don't want to go, buddy.
But in Lego Harry Potter, in that game, the way they did it is that Harry goes up to the Hand of Glory and it, like, pulls off Harry's Lego hand.
Oh my gosh.
It's so cute. And spits it out. And then there's also
Fantastic.
console versions of the video game adaptation for Chamber of Secrets. The Hand of Glory releases a shockwave when it senses movement. I brought those in because if we do encounter a Hand of Glory in the game, in Hogwarts Legacy,
A shockwave.
what could we?
Well,
I
it
don't
senses
know.
movement.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't, there's like the mechanical things where it's like, we're just gonna make something happen, like pull off Harry's Lego arm or do a shockwave of something. I don't know exactly how it connects to what Hands of Glories do. Is
Hands of Glories.
Is that the plural?
Hands of Glory.
Hands of Glory.
Yeah.
Hands of Glories.
Or if it's all a proper name, it might just be Hand of Glories.
Like, what's that thing? The Attorneys General.
Yeah. Hands of Glory sounds better.
Yeah.
Hands of Glory is just really good clapping.
It sounds like Blades of Glory, which I'm a little like... Yeah, Hands of Glory is just clapping at an ice skating
Excellent
competition.
work.
We're going to blend it.
Good triple axel.
Yeah. I mean, if Hand of Glory is a thing that exists in the wizarding world, at least like from the stories we've seen.
Yes.
And it seems that it speaks to a broader lore thing that's outside of Harry Potter in the wizarding world.
Right.
It's possible that we could see a Hand of Glory. I don't know what use.
I think it's possible.
I guess we could use it.
If you can
Maybe
create
it's
darkness,
a tool.
you can. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Is that when in my thought process leading up to today, I was like, oh, it could be on our tool belt from last week's conversation. But I actually, even when we pulled it last week, I was like, oh yeah, it kind of fits like what we just talked about. Like it's one of those utility items.
Yeah, I feel like most of the artifacts that are in our
utility belt
in our list could be just be like classified as a tool, just a possible tool for us to use. I don't know.
Or spells. I don't remember what all is in there, so it's a little game for me.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. The Hand of Glory in the broader lore is a magical instrument that is described as a severed and preserved human hand. I was real creative with the clues here.
Yeah.
So you have like this candle, and the candle illuminates for the person who... I don't know if you have to like own it or if
it is specifically only for the person holding it. That's the claim. It
says that there's lots of stuff in here. Gives light to only to the one who holds it. But I'm like, but can't I just like hot potato toss you the Hand of Glory? Would just like extinguish the flame? I don't. It says only to the one who holds. Well, maybe it's just for you.
Yeah.
And like, I can't see.
Right.
And you can see.
Right. That's how the one in Harry Potter works too. Is that what you did not?
No, I didn't understand because it's a hand. It's a mummy hand.
Yeah,
I don't understand how it works.
Well, apparently it comes from this. Yeah. Except in the wizarding world, it's even stranger because there's no candle in it, as far as I could tell. Right? It's just
no.
A
You
hand.
place a candle in the hand.
Well, in the Harry Potter too.
Yeah.
You place a candle. Oh,
yeah,
okay. Well,
apparently.
never mind.
I think that's how Draco
Okay. I get it.
I don't know.
We're coming together
I'm not
here.
sure. I don't know. But also, according to like what Draco did, because he put Peruvian instant darkness powder.
Well, he throws that.
Yeah.
It makes it dark, and then he has the hand of glory.
Yeah. So that would make sense because then it was
holds
just
hands
him.
with all the other Death Eaters.
He holds hands.
Yeah, they do. They hold on to each other.
No,
or it's like a conga line.
They're just dancing. The Death Eater dance.
Bellatrix is just like, Crucio, 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 all directions.
Yeah, it's like the disco, but it's like just Crucio.
Yeah.
Okay, this is getting out of hand. But the various powers ascribed to a Hand of Glory. The ability to immobilize anyone who looks at it.
Wow, this thing
Oh,
is
sorry.
so
This is the broader lore. This is like
the
thing, the Hand of Glory that exists outside of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Unlock any door it comes across.
Oh my god.
Well, this is why the thieves and plunderers. It's you can,
yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Also, like, is it that you just look at it and you're petrified? Or does it, like, stab your eye out?
Petrifies
I don't know. No, because it says immobilize anyone who looks at it. How does that work? It's a hand. I don't know. Maybe that's where the shockwaves come from in that other game, is that they're like, oh, how do we immobilize someone? We'll just send a shockwave. We also have, it was traditionally used by thieves. It allowed them to see in otherwise total darkness, open locked doors, immobilize guards. And then it says that there are myths surrounding the making of a Hand of Glory. And so supposedly it's a hand that is from an executed criminal. It says in parentheses, usually by hanging. I don't know why I need that detail, but most often...
Not trying and quartering.
But not Dexter.
Pull off their arm.
Most often the criminal is a murderer or other serious felon. Other myths say that a hanged man's blood is necessary to the recipe, or that his body fat is used to make the candle that is used to illuminate from the Hand of Glory.
Wow.
There's a lot there. Yeah.
Wow.
Can we make a Hand of Glory in Hogwarts Legacy? Am I going that direction?
Say in real life.
No. Ew.
Kinzo.
No, Kins.
Please don't draw and quarter me.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Good.
Good.
I think it's possible, depending on what we draw, we may redraw for this next week.
Yeah.
Because we've had some similar conversations.
They're all tools.
Doxy says, I'm eating here.
Well, okay, I will say, if there is a Hand of Glory...
In the game?
Yeah. I don't think we'll go to Borgin and Burke's unless Sebastian has some secret portal to Nocturne Alley that we can go to. It might be in Salazar's tomb. I don't know.
Are we going to Slytherin's tomb for sure?
That's what I'm calling it.
Wow. Called the shot. Babe Ruthed it. All right.
Okay. Next week, we do a different one?
No, that's good.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Jeff's opinion says that it is good.
It's different.
Next week.
Yeah.
It is different.
Yeah. That's all I need. Give me different avenues to talk about.
Is it a tool?
Because
I guess we'll find out next week.
Yeah. Okay.
On
Magical theory.
Ready? One's ready.
Turn to page 98. The noble and most ancient house of Black. Today's lesson is called The War at Home. The chapter begins with the kids going to bed after the revelation of Voldemort's seeking a weapon. In the morning, they join Molly and Sirius in battling a Doxy infestation. Harry meets Kreacher, the Black family house elf, and Sirius and Harry ponder the Black family tapestry. Sirius bemoans the fact he is stuck in this house that he hates. Finally, Harry learns that Dumbledore came through last night without stopping in to see him.
I was trying to remember in Minecraft the Harry Potter version that I have.
Oh, okay.
I go to the burrow, I believe, and I'm trying to help. I for a second I was like, oh my gosh, was I capturing Doxies and I didn't remember that? No, it was the gnome infestation, and they started eating me,
first of all,
me.
It's called Doxy.
That's the first thing, one of the first things that I wrote down. I wrote down some other stuff before
but
that.
It doesn't appear to kill them.
No, it just paralyzes them.
So it's a bit of a misnomer.
It is. When I first read that, I was like, I am going to Google this immediately because I had some concerns with Molly at that moment in time.
Insecticide.
Yeah, so it's just like paralyzed so that you can remove them. And I don't know what they're planning on.
Fred and George just taking some venom or whatever.
What are they going to do with them next?
Well, that's I don't know. They just toss them in the garbage.
Doxies?
I don't know.
Well, when they become not paralyzed, or are they just permanently paralyzed?
Well, they did say something like we're going to take them out.
And they're just like, okay, we're never going to come back again.
Yeah. So it was weird because the Doxies, like, I don't know. I don't know what, I was thinking similar things. I was like, do you like take them somewhere else? Do you like transplant them to a new home?
Yeah.
Right next door.
There's a Doxy Haven.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I did write that down because I was like, okay, that's cool, I guess. But there's also Doxy eggs too. So Fred and George are just like
Is that what they're taking? I can't remember.
They pocketed some Doxies already.
True Doxies.
But they were Crookshanks was like kind of sniffing at the eggs that were there because they weren't hatched yet, and so then they were kind of like, okay, we'll deal with this.
I love
after.
the who are you experimenting on, and they're like, oh, we take turns.
Yeah.
Us.
Sign up for a clinical trial. No.
Good. It could have been way darker. Be like, oh yeah, Kreacher or something.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah.
So they experiment. I love the puking pastilles too. Like where it's not to the final form, so it's not working. They're like, yeah, you can't eat the part that makes you stop puking because like you're just so sick.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something
temper it back a little bit.
Really hilarious about all of that, and
it's funny because
realistic in its magic.
So they have an idea, but also nobody's ever done this before. So they're basically like wizard.
No, they're inventors.
Inventors. I was gonna say scientists because you're kind of like you're trying to explore like certain things, but we don't know how these things interact with each other just yet. At least with like actual bodies.
Yeah, and I mean, even to connect, their personality is extremely entrepreneurial and kind of in a Hagrid-ish way. They have the ability to like see and find interest in things that people around them don't even know about. I mean, even the Peruvian darkness powder, like when that comes around, I believe they import it, but somehow they're aware of it, which I just find very interesting. Yeah, magical engineers or inventors.
I would be too scared that like we made some like new toxin. That we consume.
Yes. Oh yes, I've thought about that too. Yeah, they must also practice all these healing spells. They're probably pretty good healers. Of course, they've also probably injured themselves a bunch, so it makes sense.
Yeah. The very first, well, actually, no, I'm going to go with the tiny thing that I wrote down first, then I'll go to the bigger thing again, which we kind of talked about last week. But Mrs. Black is screaming because the doorbell keeps ringing. Mm-hmm. And this sounds really bad, but can't they just, like, destroy the portrait? Can't they kill the portrait, or is it going to harm her?
Or just cast a permanent silencing
charm, you know? I mean, there's probably some sort of magical guard on it or something. But I'm just like, I don't know, take like a dagger and just...
Yeah.
Problem solved?
I agree.
You don't even like her. There must be some reason, some magical force field that is preventing the destruction of that portrait. They mentioned the
unbreakable vow.
Who made the vow?
If you look at it, you
look at it, it's an instant unbreakable vow.
Yes.
Because we can do that.
Yes, we can.
Oh my gosh.
We can. We can and we do.
So the thing that I was frustrated by, and I think I'm going to be continually frustrated. I have been frustrated by this the entire series about like how the adults and the kids interact. Sure. But I think even more so because this is not like... This is something that is, like, directly involving these people, these children, these teenagers, whatever label you want to put on them. So the thing that stood out to me was when Molly sends them to bed, And then...
right at the beginning.
At the very beginning. And then Fred and George come in and they're talking and whatever. Ron says something like... I think it's Ron. It might be Fred or George. But I thought... in my brain, I was thinking it was Ron saying like, oh, she doesn't trust us.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, is that this is just an endless cycle of the adults, primarily Molly in this situation, but I'm going to talk about Molly in more than one instance. One is that Molly is the main person that's like, don't tell them anything, like, don't even be talking, I'm going to eavesdrop on you, I'm going to put my ear to the door and spy on you and all this stuff. And like, of course the kids aren't oblivious to that, and they're like, oh, she doesn't trust us, therefore we're not going to tell her that we're talking about this, or we're not going to like confide in any adult about anything that we do on our own. And it's just this cycle of like, if you're trying to like prevent something that like, you can't do it, you can't clamp it down. Nope. And then you have this layer of like, well, I can't trust you, so I'm not gonna, or you don't, there's no trust here, so why would I come to you, even if they did need help, even though they don't at this point seem to need help at all.
Well, I think a lot of it is like this expectation of somebody being perfect, and that if they can't be perfect, then you can't include them. So they can't, like, you can't put them in a position to make a mistake by telling them something that, you know, is difficult to process, or put you in this position of having a secret, an important secret. Do you understand the proportions of all of it? You know, I don't know.
But this plays out with Fred and George's shop as well, of Molly's expectations that this is like not a suitable thing for them. I guess my overall thing is like, I'm not saying like put the weight of the world's problems on kids, but like if it's something to process, it's better to process together than to be like, no, not allowed, no talking, no, like not even talking about stuff that they can't even talk about. Like that's the thing that I think I get super frustrated by, because then it just like, it's just the pattern of like, okay, well, why eventually everyone works together in the end, but it's just very painful to get to that part where, in the end, you know, yeah.
It's very painful. Yeah. I mean, even the Fred and George side and trajectory is just really interesting. It's a very realistic, it's a classic sort of trope that we know about, of like pursuing a profession that your parents don't understand.
Yeah.
And therefore, like, why don't you just do something that already exists, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to understand.
It's good for them because they make it work, but like, you can't go back and change things. Like, but can you imagine if they did have support, you know? And also on the other side of it, of how many other witches and wizards might be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I did this thing that's like a non-traditional career, or started my own thing, but were more, pulled towards like, just go, this is your path sort of thing. Like, it's, I don't know. It's tricky, and it mirrors dynamics that exist outside of the wizarding world, of course. But
it does. Yeah, and then you have Sirius floating around here, too. I mean, Sirius is so depressed and depressing. And it's totally understandable. I mean, kind of throw it away. It was like where his hiding gets, like the way he hides by being the Grim, I don't know, has now been apparently debunked. I mean, it feels a little to me. It's like, I don't know, he could still be a dog. Like, they're not gonna know every dog is
he could still be a dog.
Serious. He could definitely be out in public. Obviously, like, if he's next to Harry, it's obvious. But if he's just a dog on the streets, it's not obvious.
Yeah, well, it's all things. So basically, it's kind of like it's a forced lockdown. Or,
I mean, put it this way. McGonagall is a registered animagus. Yeah. But she could hide as a cat and somebody wouldn't know it's her.
Yeah. But they don't even let Hedwig or Pig or Buckbeak. A giant hippogriff is just in the room, in the house, and I don't imagine that they let Buckbeak out and flapping the wings and stretching the wings out. Like, it's a tough...
No.
the level of like lockdown that they have is it's very much like this is, and it's not even a nice place. You have Doxies everywhere.
No, it has horrible memories
and a grumpy house elf that hates everyone. Because...
I thought Harry's immediate recognition, his empathy really strikes when Sirius says the line about that he can't believe he's in this house again, and Harry was like, he totally understood. Like, he can imagine being an adult and being stuck in Privet Drive again.
Yeah.
Little whinging. And it just is like, I don't know. To me, it's a weak part of the story. I don't really get why he has to be there. Why does Sirius have to be there? I understand that people are asking him to and that it's dangerous, but all of the previous year, I mean, he even talks about it, like being free and riding Buckbeak and all this, and like now he can't do that. And I'm like, well, why? What changed? I don't understand what changed.
Well,
I know they told, so now his secret is out, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, but also so if you're thinking, so Voldemort, oh my god, Dumbledore is like
Voldemort's like, Sirius, don't go outside.
No, Dumbledore is like the master chess maneuverer, where it's like, it seems like any possible avenue through which Voldemort can use to get to Harry, he's gonna try to clamp down.
Yeah.
And we see this later in the book. Every time, I told Jeff this morning, every time I read like any Harry Sirius interaction, I'm just so sad because I'm like, oh my god, your days are numbered. Sorry. But like using Sirius to get to Harry somehow, like there's a lot of Dumbledore, I think, is being overly cautious because
he's right. I mean, Sirius is used to get Harry out and into a dangerous place.
So it's better to have Sirius locked down for that reason, and also so Sirius doesn't go try... I don't know that Sirius would do this, but go to try chase down Voldy. I don't know.
Ooh,
Solo style, just like try to go Avada him. I'm not sure. The troll umbrella stand, and why don't they just toss it out every time? Oh no, it is. Isn't it meant to be a security for
I
Tonks?
think so.
Just for Tonks.
I think it must be, yeah.
Because she keeps tripping on it like every time.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting chapter because we get all this background and we're really setting up Sirius for something.
We get a lot of information. Well, I mean, that's the name of the chapter, is the House of Black. We get a lot more. I brought up the tapestry last week, but it was actually mentioned this week, like the thing on it and like who's on it, who was burned off. Sirius is related to everyone. Why is that? Oh, because of the pure blood
cousin
thing.
Or whatever, Mellifluous, who wanted to write the law to legalize Muggle hunting.
Yeah. These people are absolutely ridiculous.
What?
We have a Phineas Nigellus Black mention as the least popular headmaster.
I thought the most interesting part of that was kind of taking the zoomed out lens a little bit of like his parents not being Voldemort supporters, but kind of being Voldemort supporters. Man. That is also a very realistic positioning of humans where they're like, I don't know, but like you kind of have a foot in both worlds, and it feels bad. It feels like you undercut any sort of high ground that you might think you're keeping by not backing this person vocally, but they they give money to causes and they like clearly support it, and they are happy that their other son goes and joins him. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was kind of the most honest, like, and succinct description of, because Harry was kind of like, what? And he's like, yeah, I mean, lots of people held these sentiments. And it's one of those things where it's kind of like, you read things in history books and it's like, oh, people like, or groups of people like rallied around particular causes that were like really terrible, and you're like, okay, whatever. But like having that be sort of traced and more grounded in like a real person that and are talking to, and Sirius is telling you, people have these like anti-Muggle sentiments, And
they
then
be stoked.
And yes, and eventually, like, some people were like in over their heads when they realized what Voldemort was willing to do, but that doesn't deny the fact that these sorts of discourses and
not only
supports exist, you know?
That, but Regulus and specifically.
Yeah.
To have it be that close it's so unique because you have one brother who everyone thinks is evil.
Yeah.
But is good from our perspective. And then another brother who, like, everyone knows is evil, was a Death Eater, but then, like, fights against it in an extremely noble way and self-sacrificial way. It's just really interesting. It's really interesting to bring the two brothers closer together. That they actually, like, because then you see how it's two sides of the same coin. They're raised by the same parents. They're in the same house. They have the same influences. They're not that far from each other. They influence each other. And, like, you could see somebody like a little brother being pulled that way because they want the pride of the parents, and, you know, that maybe they feel a lot of pressure after Sirius basically disowns the family. And then, like, eventually when push comes to shove, he makes a brave decision, Regulus, and says, you know, enough. This person is evil.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
You know.
I mean, we see that a little. So in Fantastic Beasts, that series with Grindelwald's like rise, like, so it's this sort of like, there's a lot going on, and this is like there's phenomenons like interest convergence is one of them, but there's more complicated dynamics when it comes to like a moment in time that has particular I don't even know, like, organizing structures of, like, so it's not that, and we see this in present day, it's not that like the Muggle-born discrimination, or like there's some like murmurs of it, like little remnants.
Are you talking about Wizards Unite?
I'm talking about I'm talking about Harry Potter. So like Hermione still gets like bullied, and it's not to the extent of like, oh, we're going to,
but it could be. The idea is that it could return.
Potential to, yes.
And that's why it's a constant struggle. You know, you have to constantly fight not only other people's urges, but your own, to be like, no, that's wrong. And where is it coming from? And how do you break the cycles of kind of thought that can be consuming, because it can be subtly embedded in so many aspects. Yeah. I mean, we even get in this, I think it's the next book, right? Where, no. I'm thinking about the statue in the Ministry, and it changes, right? So that must be the 7th. That's the 7th where it's changed, and like
it's after
you have the non-subtlety of it. Yes. That the wizards are on top. Yeah. But it's interesting because it's not as if the statue is the reality. It just reflects the openness of it. But the earlier statue of like cooperation is much more aspirational, because you still have like huge disagreements between wizards and their counterparts, centaurs and goblins and house elves. I mean, house elves are extremely relevant. I mean, spew is extremely relevant to this story of like how things go unnoticed and unchanged for so long, and then they're just assumed that like it's good, that the house elves just like it because it's been this way for so long. Yeah, they just like it.
I think one of the most fascinating interactions also with that in this chapter is with Kreacher and Hermione, because so Hermione's whole deal this entire time is like, oh, these poor little house elves, like they need to be freed and all this stuff, and like generally everyone's nice to her, like in terms of house elves, because they're the Hogwarts house elves, like that's who she encounters, and Winky, I guess, and Dobby's free at this point, so whatever. But then Kreacher is just super cruel to her, and she still is kind of like maintaining this position of like,
there's no sense in having a principle if once it's under stress you give it up.
But I think what I'm wondering is like, what is the processing in her mind of like, is it that she's like blaming, I guess, for lack of a better word, the discourses, or like that sort of like, oh, he doesn't know what he's saying, he's just recirculating stuff. Like, how is she making sense of that interaction that he has with her, where he's like clearly,
I think you're right. I think the most charitable way I could read it is that he's never experienced a different version of the world. Yeah. So he doesn't even know that such a thing exists. Mm-hmm. Look at the Black family tree. All the opportunities he would have to experience a different Black family are burnt out of
that's true.
existence.
Yeah.
But whether it's a nature thing or those people did have influences on him over time, like Sirius, even though Sirius seems to hate him.
Yeah.
To that he also breaks out.
There's the thought. That's why I said recirculated, is because there's this like outward. I mean, that's part of it. It's not like parroting, but it's like giving power to that discourse of like, it exists, I'm just gonna like recall it or restate it, and it is like what I'm gonna say. But like so I guess like the theme for me is more of like big talk, and then like what happens when push comes to shove and you have to like do something about it, you know?
Well, to me, it's one of the all-time great scenes is when he recounts Regulus's story. Yeah. Because it just it gives that feeling of like that you have heroes of a story, that there are other people who do incredible things. Gethsemane
Prickle.
To say,
she was never part of the order.
Yeah.
Don't forget, she helped with the cause.
Grim Folly's parents get killed. In this story.
Yeah.
Not the original war, in this war.
Yes.
And it's like, wow, you get this sort of, our perspective is on this little group of people because of Harry. It's really on Harry and his surroundings. But that there's so much more going on. And that one, I just love that scene so much. I feel like I relive it every time I read, but the first time that I read it, I felt like I still have this imprint of it being such a massive chapter for me. That one in the 7th book. Because it was like, just assume Kreacher is the way that he's been depicted.
Right.
You assume that Hermione is naive and that Sirius is right and that like he likes it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's like, no, he liked a person and he did something for his for a person. Yeah. It's really intense. Mm-hmm. And then he fights at the end. It's intense. Kreacher is a great character. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot. And then that's pretty much the end of the chapter, except for the fact that Dumbledore comes through.
Dumbledore, WTF, mate. Yeah. You're gonna stop by and not even say. That's when like people we know who like stop and visit in a town.
It's amazing to me, like,
just kidding,
because it really speaks something to me to ancient magic.
Oh,
where it's like Dumbledore does this out of love and care for Harry, but he doesn't invoke ancient magic. He messes up. That is not loving. It's not loving to ignore somebody, even if you think you're doing it for their best interest. Harry deserves Dumbledore to give him attention, to be in his in good standing, and not question himself. He thinks that that Voldemort is inside of Harry now. And that if Voldemort realizes that he's close to Dumbledore, closer than headmaster pupil, that he will then use Harry, the connection with Harry.
To get to Dumbledore?
To do anything, yeah. Yeah, but specifically around Dumbledore or whatever.
This is why the ignoring 24... Or no, is that 6?
What?
The 24/7 ignoring, or is that this book?
That's this one.
That's this book. Okay.
No, the 6th book is fantastic. It's my favorite one.
I always blur 5 and 6
together. The 6th one is it's not. Now Harry is in on the secrets.
Okay,
it's the pensive.
Okay.
The one-on-one lessons over and over and over again. Okay. No, this one, instead of learning occlumency with Dumbledore, which he should have, he learns it with Snape, which makes Harry question the occlumency, even though Snape appears, when all is said and done, to have been doing the actual job.
Yeah.
Harry questions the training and questions the output of the training of like what is happening to him. He doesn't trust Snape, and then they eventually attack each other and break off the training, which was predictable.
Yay!
That's 400 pages from now.
No, we're just like, blah, 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 blah. What happens next? And then the Battle of Hogwarts. No, just kidding.
I don't know if Dumbledore really loves and cares for Harry. My point is more, Dumbledore thinks he's doing this out of love and care and protection. And he's the only one in the world that understands what Lily did. I mean, Voldemort kind of thinks about it, but really understands what Lily's sacrifice meant, why it's magical protection, that there's this deeper thing.
Yeah.
But Dumbledore, still doesn't recognize that what he is doing isn't going to help Harry at all. It's not a thing. I mean, I know not invoking ancient magic, but that it's a faux love. It's a faux care. It's not actual care. Actual care is honest.
Well,
in my opinion, always. Like, it can't be couched in lie. There is an undercutting of it.
Dumbledore, maybe, well, I don't know. Dumbledore and Snape, I think their actions are both connected to, so Dumbledore might also include James, but like Lily for sure is like basically the thing that Snape cares about, or like the motivating thing. Lily is the motivating thing. So similar for Dumbledore. Like, sure, maybe he has a decent relationship with Harry, but like I feel like for me, Dumbledore has this like obligation to those people, to James and Lily Potter, and also maybe tying to this sacrifice situation. Yeah, there's other things because we already talked about Dumbledore is like head of all these things in the wizarding world, and so it's a lot of stuff is like kind of in the name of good and whatever, and also anti-Voldemort. I don't know like where those levels pan out, but at this point I feel like it's a bigger obligation than to Harry himself, or he doesn't remember Harry himself as a person, I think, and that's kind of like where the decisions are kind of more calculated and cold and just like straight to the point.
It picks up on the conversation last week of mollycoddling children. And this,
you said that word, and every time I think of Molly Weasley.
I know, that's why she's named that, I think. But the whole series is basically about how does Dumbledore treat Harry? What does he tell Harry?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't tell him anything for 11 years until it was like, oh.
Not even that he's a wizard.
By, I guess, magical law or whatever, because of this book and quill, I guess we must inform you, you're going to Hogwarts in a month. Get ready, go.
And then he doesn't tell him about the deeper connection. He doesn't tell him about the Horcruxes until after he makes this horrible mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the leverage in my position here of saying that, like, the story plays out in such a way that clearly honesty would have been a better policy, because it is the lack of telling Harry that drives Sirius to die, essentially, this whole process. If you would have told Harry, I would die on this hill for this story. If you tell Harry, Voldemort wants you to go to the Department of Mysteries because there's a prophecy about you.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go. He would not go. Nothing would pull him. It wouldn't matter if he saw Sirius. He would know that this is either a trick or he needs to like alert everybody. Now, obviously, he tries to alert some people.
Yeah.
But it's just a really interesting piece of it because it's the flaw. It's the flaw in Dumbledore's plan, is not seeing Harry as a full person that deserves to know the truth about himself.
Now you're making me think about that scene in Snape's Tears.
Yeah.
From the movie.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, now you care for the boy or whatever.
No. Right.
Yeah. But I don't know how that, I don't remember how Snape's memories actually play out in the book. But what that made me think of is like, what if Dumbledore attempted to not care for Harry so people are talking about the prophecy and all this stuff in the chat. Like, what if it was just kind of more of like, this is like a contractual, obligation of like, I'm going to whatever deal with this because I'm Dumbledore. And then eventually he starts to care for Harry and is like, okay, we're going to put that
be
buffer,
an interesting story. It's possible
On the other
is
hand,
what happens.
So like Snape also doesn't really care for Harry. But like in the end, it's kind of like he gets real like whatever about like what the actual situation is at hand. There's like a lot. Because if you think about it, you have this kid and he's growing up, and like you have this relationship with the kid's parents, and it just makes it that relationship that you have with the child is even more complicated because you had those other relationships. I don't know.
And I think but that's what makes it such a story that we have all connected with.
Yeah.
It's that even our great heroes, even the great wizard, which is a trope in story, makes the huge mistakes.
Yeah.
And like that Snape takes Snape like that. He doesn't even admit to himself that, I mean, yeah, Snape is incredibly tragic. I do not like Snape at all. I don't think it forgives any of the things that he chooses to be or do. But it does reveal a deep tragedy and sadness that this person could have been a different person with a series of different choices, that he was on the knife's edge and he just made the wrong choices over and over again until finally he got to his breaking point, which was that the only person that he appears to love is murdered by the person that he's following. And so so that changes it all, right? That it doesn't take it all back.
Yeah.
He wishes he could. And it doesn't forgive the fact that he continues to treat Harry like a piece of crap for years, which is insane, but there you have it.
Mm-hmm. Hindsight is 50-50.
But it does reveal that sort of potential that we all have that I think is really sad.
Yeah.
It's the potential of like, at any time, you could have done something different. You could have told Harry how you felt about his mother and treated him differently, like a son, like Sirius does. You could have treated Harry that way too, you know. And that's to Zira and others' points. Like it does circle a bit back on Dumbledore. That wouldn't have gone by Dumbledore's plan because Dumbledore needed Snape to be undercover, but Snape with occlumency. I mean, that's to me another ancient magic when we get to it. Is like the reason Snape can protect that memory, that feeling, that deep of a feeling from Voldemort is because of ancient magic. And like that Voldemort doesn't understand it. So even when Snape says don't kill Lily, and Voldemort's like, okay, fine, who cares? It's just whatever, you love her. Yeah. But then he's just like, okay, I'm gonna kill her. and then Snape says, okay, really? Oh no, okay, I'll still follow you. And Voldemort's like, okay, well, I mean, he tests him a couple times, but come on, man.
A retelling of it with my origin.
Really think about this. Yeah. If I said to you, don't kill Winnie.
Oh my God.
And you did.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, oh, it's okay. No, you're right.
No, but I care about Winnie.
I know. But you get the point. The circle of it, of sort of like that it's so mind-boggling. Only an idiot would think that Snape actually still follows him. Only an idiot would think that. Or somebody, Voldemort.
Who is
no, all of his other Death Eaters don't trust Snape.
Oh, that's true.
Bellatrix doesn't.
That's true. Yes, no, you're right.
They're all like, I don't know about this. And they don't even know the whole story. Yeah. They just think Snape is too close to Dumbledore. They don't know about Lily, although they should. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's Magical Theory Podcast time. Until next time.
What's ready?